Many patients come into the office concerned about not getting a good night's sleep. In fact, on the intake, when I ask a patient, tell me about your sleep, patients usually respond by saying, well, I don't get enough of it. I'm always tired. I feel like no matter how often I want to get to sleep early, I just don't, and I don't stay asleep. So I could talk about sleep for hours, but I'm going to talk about really 3 or 4 major key points that you should be aware of so you're not repeating these behaviors, which is preventing you from getting good sleep. The number one culprit of poor sleep is this guy right here. It's a phone. Why? Because of the blue light that you get from the screen. Even if you adjust the screen, even if you adjust it, that light coming from a tablet, smartphone, even a television, right? If you have a television in your room, stimulates part of the brain that controls melatonin production. And melatonin production is a hormone that helps you regulate your circadian rhythm. Essentially, it helps you sleep. What I do about an hour, hour and a half before bed, I just put the phone in another room and I let it charge. I don't have a TV in the bedroom either, so if you have a television, you're more apt to use it. What I'm going to say next is going to bug a lot of people because people are reading now on their iPads, they're reading a lot on their Kindle. I like reading, of course, but I want to read from a book, okay? Preferably a book that's non-confrontational and maybe fiction, maybe nonfiction, but Pat Conroy, one of my favorite authors, reading a book puts me to sleep like that, okay? A couple pages, it's very different than scrolling through an iPad. The brain is getting all this data, all this information really quickly, in addition to the light that is kind of arousing. Sitting with a book and maybe just a standard book light or a lamp and just going through a few pages, it just induces sleep, okay? Trust me on this. I read books, I read magazines, I still get magazines in the newspaper because I just find it more relaxing than just scrolling through, all right? Thirdly, drinking before bed. Now, I don't mean drinking alcohol to get ready for bed, which never really works in the long term, but even drinking water. You know, if you drink maybe an hour or so before bed, even less than that, your body's going to want to urinate throughout the evening. So what gets a lot of patients up, and then what keeps a lot of patients up, is going to the bathroom, and then they're up, and they're thinking about all the things they need to do, and then they can't go back to bed. So what I try to do, and I'm not always successful at this, is try to limit drinking maybe hour and a half before bed, 2 hours. You really don't want to do that because it's going to get you up. Now, the fourth thing I'm going to recommend, or the fourth thing that I highly recommend, is about eating. People ask, when and how far in advance before bed should I eat? Well, here's my simple mantra. Don't go to bed starving, but don't go to bed full. All right, if you need a snack, preferably something that's probably medium density in protein, maybe like 15, 20, 25 grams of protein. Sometimes it's nuts, sometimes it's cheese, sometimes it's a protein bar. I find that to be perfect. About 180, maybe 200 calories, perfect. See, if you go to bed hungry, it's hard to fall asleep. But if you go to bed full, all that blood is rushing into the GI system, and that's going to prevent you from getting to sleep, at least restful sleep. But if you have something that could calm your hunger pangs, then chances are you'll be out to sleep comfortably, and then you'll wake up and you can resume your day. Now, of course, as I've always mentioned this, sleeping is something your body wants to do. Using prescription medication, I never recommend, because when you learn the correct sleep hygiene habits, you could sleep on your own without it. Anyway, come on in. I'll go through all this stuff with you. We'll do a quick history. We'll see what you're doing that's interfering with your sleep and correct it and get you on a path to greater health. As always, it's never easy. It's always worth it. And see you next time.